But the De Gea mistake, though, Luke, another mistake by David De Gea. And I've said this before, where when we play rubbish, Man United, normally we rely on De Gea to make the saves. Now he's become rubbish. What does Ole Gunnar Solskjaer do? What is going on?
I think, because he was bad at the World Cup, and I don't think he's really mentally recovered, because this is not the first howler he's made this season. Like Barcelona, he made another howler. And I think, his contract's probably a big issue. He doesn't know whether or not he's going or staying. For me, I think he's mentally checked out. I don't think he wants to be there anymore. He probably looks at Sanchez. He's being paid
500 grand, is it?
No,
something
it's
like that?
375, and then he gets another 75k for every time he starts. And he probably wants the same amount, because he's like, I've kept you in the top four for the past 5 years, and now the club's going, but we can't pay everyone this stupid wage. And he's probably thinking, I'm out. And I think it's the same with Pogba. I think Pogba doesn't want to be there anymore. I think he thinks, I might as well just go to Madrid.
I loved what Roy Keane said the other day, because Pogba had that interview after the defeat at Everton, and then Roy Keane said, I don't believe a word he says. That's how I felt.
Yeah, because he's probably been told to say it. He's probably...
It's easy. I'll say this now, even if he does mean it, it's easy to say it. Do it on the pitch.
Yeah, because he was crap.
Exactly. Well, the whole team is, yeah.
He was crap, and I don't think he wants to be there either. All right, he played okay against Chelsea, but he didn't really do anything. Didn't grab the game by the scruff of the neck. He's going to be your leader in the middle of the pitch, and without because in the World Cup he looked great. That's because he had Kante next to him doing all the running. He had Rafa Varane at the back, and then he had Kylian Mbappe up front scoring goals. United, he's got Smalling and Jones at the back, and then he's got Donkey up front.
Would the argument be then that there's too much expectation on Pogba to deliver, and the fact that the United really don't have the resources throughout the rest of the squad in order to complement Pogba, and therefore he's getting worn out every single game?
I will say this now about Pogba, where he does have a bit of sympathy.
Because that's how I feel, and I feel sometimes this criticism is too much, because it's like Pogba isn't Messi, Pogba isn't Ronaldo. He can't do everything.
Pogba needs world-class players, but the ball have not splashed.
The way I see it with Pogba is, they are trying to get a team around him, aren't they? But at the same time, United are just not doing that at all. But this is when I start to look at Ed Woodward and think, all these contracts, Connor, all ending in the summer, and then you just think the Sanchez wage from last year...
Well, now you're going to get a whole load of money opening up at the football club that needs to be used up or put somewhere. So
I don't know where it's going to go.
Well, now will be the perfect time for United to start buying actual world-class players again, to actually bring into the squad. Or, better yet, buy youth to bring up into the United way, rather than bringing in someone like Alexis Sanchez that's been playing at Arsenal and whatnot.
I've been saying that for months.
And being the ridiculous player that he is, and having a tantrum every whatnot if he doesn't get onto the pitch and whatnot.
Who's that, sorry?
Sanchez.
Oh, Sanchez.
That's what basically United need to do again. Think about the days where they got, the likes of David Beckham into their team for the youth and all the things like that. But you could even go on to the flip side of that and look at someone like, going after Cristiano Ronaldo and Sporting Lisbon, bringing him at your youthful age, building him up into the world-class player that he became. Sure, it's not going to happen with every single player that you bring in for as a youth. Makeda.
Or Rossi.
Bebe.
He played in the Homeless World Cup. I don't know where that
what's it? Gabriel Obertan, wasn't it?
Obertan, yeah.
He looked like the upfront version of Barthez.
He did, didn't he?
But
same country as well.
That's where United really needs to go back to, because getting a lot of personalities that aren't delivering when they're expected to. At least then, if they do get youthful players in, they can bring them up the right way. And you got the right manager in as well at the moment with Solskjaer, who's lived under that Ferguson mantra, the way of doing things at United, the way that it's expected to happen. We've seen it already be delivered, and it's just tailed off a little bit now, but I think he can reinstate that during the summer with the players that he wants at the football club, rather than having to deal with a month transfer window in order to try and bring someone in to change the football club. And he didn't bring anyone in at the end, did he?
No.
So, it was more or less just work with what you've got, see if you can get top four, and we'll build on it in the summer. And I think that's the way that United are going to go with it. But
I always think because United keep saying, fans think we need to get top 4 to attract the big names, but I always think it's not exactly the end of the world, as in like, okay, we may not attract the big names, but as you said, the youth is there. There's other backups where United, it's not the end of the world. I'm sorry, but I honestly think maybe us getting Champions League, not getting a Champions League is a good idea. Because I honestly wonder, would the team even be capable next season of competing in it?
Hey, Europa League's a big competition this year.
I mean, you could joke about it, but like we didn't get Champions League after Van Gaal left, and then Mourinho had the chance to win the Europa League, and they did, and it helped the team out a little bit. But I say that, then we got worse after that. But sometimes I just think maybe that is sadly the status we're in at the moment, a Europa League. At the moment we've got an Arsenal and Chelsea team in the semis who, in my eyes, both will get to the final and one of them will win it. So don't know. That's just how I feel. I think Champions League is not the end of the world.
I feel as well De Gea needs to be let off the hook a little bit. 3 mistakes in the last 4 games. Yeah. Before that, it was only 3 mistakes in the last 123 games for Manchester United. Yeah. So I think you need to let someone off the hook a little bit in your criticism.
I think the pressure's a bit harsh on him because the whole team are playing
the same idea. I follow what Luke said as well. You need to speak to De Gea and ask him, right now, no point waiting until the end of the season. Let me know right now, are you here as United player next season or are you off? Are you off already in your mind? Do you think you're going to go? If he says, I don't know, I say, fine, you're dropped from the bench until the rest of the season. Romero's going to come in because he's going to be here next season at least.
Yeah.
And we'll work with him and see what we've got with him. Because if we've got someone with him, if he concedes 5 goals against Huddersfield and Cardiff over these next 2 games, you can say goodbye Romero as well, because he's obviously not good enough to play for United if he's conceding against 2 teams that look to get relegated. I don't care about the defence. You've got Smalling and Phil Jones in that team. England internationals, whether you like it or not, they're England internationals. And, they should be good enough for United to get into the top 4. Tell me, who else in terms of defence around the rest of the Premier League would you bring into United and you'd say, let me have them and then we'll get into the top 4? Because I don't think you'll be able to get that with Maguire.
Maguire.
You get that off Otamendi.
No, I thought you meant
Otamendi's broken.
I thought you meant just any player or something like that.
No.
Ricardo Pereira at Leicester, better than Ashley Young at right back.
Well, Pereira's not playing in the centre back position.
Yeah, but he's better right back than Ashley Young, isn't he?
But that's what I mean. It's like everyone criticises Phil Jones and Smalling, but on the day they can be great defenders.
It's just Smalling can be, not Phil Jones.
They're highlighted so many times as bad defenders, and I just
gets injured, then comes back, plays a couple of games, get injured. For me, the biggest problem at that club is Ed Woodward's ego, because there was rumours coming around like the biggest problem at United is Ed Woodward, because he's obsessed with the Galactico signings, your Sanchez, your Bales. But like Bale is like 29, injury prone, going to cost a ton.
See, we said
He's
this.
the director of football.
We said this on the show a few months back, didn't we? Where I said Ed Woodward, business financially wise, he's great. He knows how to work on that side of things. But when it comes to the players, I want someone who's played in football to make the decisions on the pitch. And this is when there's over the last few weeks, there's been rumours that Mike Phelan might get the technical director job. But
why would that be a bad thing?
Why would that be a bad thing? I think Mike Phelan's the right man for recruitment, easily.
Absolutely.
He did that for Fergie. So it's like, I think it's spot on.
If for United's a big club, shouldn't you go after the best person for that job?
No, because you've seen what happens when they go after the best people. They fail. It doesn't work.
Van der Sar, the only person else I would have as well as Mike Phelan. I mean, people say Van der Sar should
Van der Sar's at Ajax, though.
But he's at Ajax.
You're going to have to pay off big to get him.
And I don't think he'd want to leave Amsterdam anyway. His family is there, and he has... Sorry.
Didn't Schmeichel say...
Schmeichel said... I don't think... It's all about resources as well, isn't it? And I just think Mike Phelan would be the man to do it.
Money saving exercise. You go and get Paul Mitchell from RB Leipzig. He did well at Southampton, did well at Tottenham. He's a United lad. Like, he was born in Manchester. And he's the best person for that job. And, like, plus you got to have a massive squad overhaul in the summer. Like, you got to get rid of Smalling, Jones.
They're not going to get rid of them, though, because they just handed them their contracts.
I know, it's ridiculous, because they're rubbish. They are rubbish.
Coming from a team that gives Lovren a new contract.
I don't think we've given him a new deal yet.
Yeah, you did though last summer though, didn't you?
Oh, what did we? I didn't realise.
Oh, was it? Yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
He's like an.
You gave Lallana a new contract. He's on the bench half the time.
Yep. Well, at least he.
Daniel Sturridge is still there.
Yeah, but he's going.
Storage
on
is
free
going in the summer.
I know, but how long has he been there, Connor? Where
Too long.
he's been on the hospital bed
Too
more
long.
times he's been on the pitch.
I remember someone.
Also.
I remember someone said to me, "Sturridge is the best striker at Liverpool, and he should be playing week in, week out." This was last season. I said to him, he's injury prone. He's like, he's not worth anything. He's like, oh, he's fine. Suarez has gone now. Sturridge will be fine and replace
Dominic
him.
Solanke.
No.
Oh wait,
No.
where's he gone now?
Sold in for an absolute bomb.
I feel like we should talk about a few other teams because we think.
Yeah. But overall, Connor, just quickly wrap it up in a few words. What do you think United need to do in the summer?
Knock it down and start again.
Yeah. Not essentially that, but build a team in Solskjaer's vision of United rather than
Ed Woodward
bringing in the big splash names like Sanchez and whatnot.
getting Greenwood, getting Chong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get that United way going back again.